Good morning. This is 60 Seconds to Serenity with me, Gregg Hammond. Today is Saturday, November 11, 2017, and it is Veterans Day. So this whole weekend is a time when we have an opportunity and a responsibility to pay special attention and focus on our gratitude for veterans and for people of service who have given their time and their entire life or part of their life or the time that they could have spent with family and loved ones to serve. And so my gratitude goes out to all of them. I went over to SiriusXM with my sister Jennifer. She had her Veterans Day taping of her show. It will be on today. It'll be on this whole weekend. If you tune into channel 126. Good morning, Carol. And I see Juliet just hopped on too. Good morning. If you go to channel 126 on SiriusXM, the channel is The Urban View, and my sister Jennifer Hammond will have her show, the Veterans Day show, where the title of the show is called Healing Our Heroes, and the focus of the show is to address and talk about, she has two separate panels, discussing the ways that are available out there for healing our heroes and helping them through programs that utilize different things such as music. And there are a lot of people who were coming from places of music talking about songs, and there were different programs. There were singing programs, there were guitar programs, there were bonding groups that were just for song circles. So music came up a lot. There were other instruments as well. So tune into that. If you don't have SiriusXM, you can go to the SiriusXM website and get the free trial 30 days where they don't bill you until the 31st day or whatever it is. So you can get that for free and tune in and listen on, and I recommend that you do. So hopefully you've taken a little bit of time for your 60 Seconds to Serenity. We talk about how to shift using tools, how to shift and shift yourself into a very serene and powerful mindset of calmness, because calmness is a superpower. It helps you to be better at responding to circumstances around you, and it's better to respond than to react. Many years ago, I would, on Wednesday nights, I would go out into the rural part of Maryland, and I would meet with an elder from Lakota tribe. He carried the medicine bundle for the tribe, and he was here in Washington, D.C., working on some laws and trying to protect the rights of Native American Indians. And so every Wednesday night, with a group of my friends, we would all meet, and he would lead us in study, and he was our teacher. We would bring a potluck, and we would have a community gathering where we prepared a large fire, put big rocks in there, heated those rocks, brought them inside of a tent that was assembled just for that. It was a sweat lodge, and we would go through that very powerful physical cleansing, and then we would go over to a teepee, and we would have a fire in there, and we would sit around and have our meal, our potluck meal that we brought, and we would all share as a community things that we were working on in life and things that were going on for us. And then we would also get some amazing wisdom shared with us. And one of those things was about responding and reacting. And that was always a little bit of the lesson that was in there, and very powerful at the time. At the time, as I was learning, I was not sure how to apply that. I understood the words, but it wasn't sinking in. Years later, it's still part of why I do the things that I do and how I go about my day, and it's very powerful. And the 60 seconds to serenity that I'm doing here is so that you have the tools and the ability to, within 60 seconds, bring yourself into a serene place and realize that you have control of your mind. And I'm representing the breath here. This is like water coming in on a sandy beach, gently flowing all the way in to the point where it comes to a resting and, a nice place of rest, and then it goes back out. And that's what you want to be able to do, is just focus your breath like that and use that as your first physical tool. And as you're doing this very slow breathing like that, you're incorporating either a little bit of music, something that really gets you excited and feeling good, and memories or thoughts or pictures of things that were fantastic from previous experiences. And what we're doing is we're building all of this, we're combining all of those senses together so that you are able to use this as your trigger. So that if you, let's say that a coworker says a series of things, or you're at a meeting and the people in the meeting say things that make you feel emotions that you're like, I don't like those emotions, right? Anger or frustration or confusion. Your 60-second to serenity tool that we're working on here is that you're constantly practicing this, making this tool solid, right? And then practice is part of what I teach as a music teacher, as a guitar teacher, teaching adults who have never played before how to play. The number one thing is to practice and repeat the same thing. And I have a series of things to show you the best things to practice, because my method is designed for adults who have very little time to practice, very busy adults. And the key is to have the right exercises and pick out those specific exercises and repeat those. So repetition is just like, you want to get better at doing a certain amount of pull-ups or chin-ups, depending on how you want to turn your hands, those are challenging, but the only way that you're going to get to where you could do more than you did before is by repetition. The same thing, you get good at anything. If you are a gardener for 20 years, you become very good at gardening. If you are someone who writes often, you get better at that. So it's a choice for you to decide what you want to do. And if you want to choose to have this amazing trigger, you can use 60 seconds to serenity to calm yourself. And it's a great tool. Maybe you don't have a lot of stressful stuff coming in. Maybe it's your job is easier, or your life is laid back. It's an excellent tool just to bring you into a more powerful state of being. So powerful quotes are helpful. Writing out something, choosing to write something, journaling. A lot of people do really well journaling. It was one of those things that shifted it for me. A big shift of self-discovery. We're doing the morning pages, and those are just a series of writing a couple of pages first thing as soon as you wake up. Watch, get up a little bit early, a little bit earlier than you might usually, and just sit down with a pen and write, and just let your mind dump everything onto the page. That's the idea. of your morning pages. So you're journaling, but you're also not you're not trying to write down anything in particular. You're not trying to say yesterday was a great day, because maybe you do write that, but you're not confined to writing any particular type of thing. You are just trying to put into the practice of letting your mind, that was your subconscious mind working all night, stirring round and round and round and round while you were sleeping, that is ready to come out from subconscious mind into your conscious mind. If you're not sure what that looks like, I could show you next time, instead of getting up and trying to run and get that. It's only over there. It's actually over there, but when I point this way, I'm pointing the other way. So for me, it's the opposite, but at least you can read things that are in the video going by. The most important stuff that I'm trying to share is visible. Keep smiling. I'm going to figure out how to make that so that I don't have to do it physically. There'll be a little chime that goes with every time that you see the sign like this, be like this. Like that. Watch. This would have to be a different chime. I don't know if you can hear those chimes. I know they're behind the I'm going to show you the chimes here. I know on the telephone that's very loud, so I have no idea how this is. You can leave a comment in here. I see there are a few more people hopping on this morning, and I know that if you're in California, then it's early. If you're on the East Coast, it's early too. This is a Saturday session. I started a little later than I usually do, but my schedule shifts, and I think everybody else's shifts a little bit too. So we were talking about, I was mentioning the writing down your page in your journal, and you just want to, the first one to do is to get into the habit of just dumping out all the information that you have, or all of not the information, all the stuff that's in your brain, the thoughts about whatever. Just dump them. Don't worry about it. Don't edit. You don't even have to worry about going back and looking at this. You're just going through the process because it's a cleansing of your subconscious mind, and you want that. You put it onto the page, your mind will feel free, and part of your serenity can be that you've cleansed that part of your subconscious mind for the beginning of your day, at the beginning of your day, after you've been sleeping. So that's the journaling for the day. And then we were doing a handwriting exercise where you're using your non-dominant hand, which for me would be my left hand, and then writing out these things here. First we started with just your name, and so I put my name in there, and then you have the day and the date written out for the month, the number of the day, the year, and a time. And so this on Wednesday was 6:25 in the morning when I wrote this out, just as the example. The exercise that I work on is writing a full page. So I have all that I've written. This is all non-dominant hand, the whole entire page. And over here on this side, you see that I have A, B, C, D, E, right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times I've written out that paragraph. It says, rather than permitting my old paradigm to employ all of my spiritual power to hold me back or keep me from where I am, I make this committed decision regardless of how difficult it may be for a period of time. That key sentence right there is, regardless of how difficult it may be for a period of time. My paradigm shift is constant and certain. So they say 21 days and you can create a new habit. Maybe you want to eliminate a habit and you should replace it with something new. Let's say that you decided you wanted to stop drinking caffeinated drinks, or maybe it's just coffee. You wanted to stop drinking coffee. You should replace it with something So you remove coffee, you replace it with water, and that's what I recommend. And I've talked about water and why it's so important. So replace it. So when you are adding in, if you're going to add in something such as the morning pages and writing, your journaling, then you might want to get up a little bit early to add that in. You might be replacing something, but that's more of an add-in. So, so you do your morning pages, and then you do your non-dominant hand. You don't have to do all of that long paragraph like that, but you can if you want. And then you're doing non-dominant with just those things that I listed there. All right, and then a little bit of reading. I recommend that you have a book that you want to read, that you start reading. Neville Goddard has some great stuff, personal growth. Actually, I'm sorry, I mentioned the reading before you sit down and do your gratitude, right? And there's 6 things written. I'm going to fill in all of them. I will fill them all in before I get up from the table here. And my list is of 10. I've actually posted a link in some of the other videos, and I can post another link where you could print that exact page out. That comes from Proctor Gallagher Institute. It's a fantastic 10 lines with a little thing at the bottom. It says at the bottom that the next thing you can do is be quiet for 5 minutes and ask for guidance for the day, and send love to those who bother you. And those are things that I've talked about here, is that you want to be able to send love out there. And a lot of times, if you're wanting to send love to people, you see that's at the end of that process, right? You've gone through and you've written out all of 10 gratitude, 10 things that you're grateful for, and they could be people, places, things that you've experienced. Maybe it's an experience, right? Any of that qualifies as something to be on your gratitude list, and you write out 10. You've done that, right? You've gotten yourself into a mindset of thinking of things that you're grateful for. Then you take the 5 minutes to wait for some inspiration to come in, and don't judge whether it's the right thing or not. Just let that 10 minutes of quiet mind bring in guidance. And then the next thing is to send the love. And it's in that order, right? That's on purpose. That you sit down and go through all the gratitude, and then have 5 minutes for guidance for things to come in. And that's when you can use your 60 seconds to serenity as you're doing that, right? That's where you tie in your breath. Now, the 60 seconds to serenity tools of the breathing can tie in and be used at any time. So you can use it just before you sit down for gratitude. And you can use it for as you're writing out your morning pages. You can use it as you're doing your 5 minutes of being quiet and asking for guidance. And then if you've done used these tools and you've done this work, right? What has happened now is you're prepared. Your vibration is very high and very different and very peaceful. And now you can work on sending love to 3 people that are bothering you, 3 people that you're trying to resolve something, and you want to focus on being just that, sending them love and seeing that be like a big hug of love energy around them. And if you find that your mind goes to something that isn't a loving feeling, maybe it's whatever situation it might be, if your mind does that, use this 60 second to serenity trigger that I'm teaching and sharing with you here to get you back to a place where you're on a higher vibration, and then you can come back to sending out that love. And the reason that I'm doing this every single day is to get you into the routine of thinking about this and thinking about all these tools. I'm sharing all these amazing things that have shifted my life into a very, very good place. And so I'm sharing these as a way to give back and in gratitude for how amazing my life is. And so I hope that these are helpful. I am going to hop off and get busy with all of my stuff for today to finish my gratitude list and finish my reading and finish my writing. We'll talk about more of subconscious mind, conscious mind, and more tools in the next videos. Tomorrow is Sunday, and I'll be on here between 6 and 7 a.m. It just depends on how my reading and writing that I have to do right for first thing in the morning, how that where that falls into the schedule. But between 6 and 7, I'm on here, and you are welcome to share this. Share this any place that you want. You can share this in groups I've made. This is a public live video, so you can share this. You know, might have a friend who you're like, I know they really benefit from, you know, something that's in the video. You can share that with them, and also stay tuned for today, because every Saturday at 9 a.m. I do a short little free guitar lesson. Since I'm rated #1 in Washington, D.C. for guitar lessons, I have been for well over a decade, and because I have been able to do what I love for such a long time, and during the time of me learning how to do this, learning how to teach and teach in a very effective, efficient way, what I realize is that a lot of adults who have either started their guitar lessons and then dropped off, or started and then have struggled for a long time and never really gotten very far. They keep hitting a lid, and we'll talk about how that works. That for a lot of adults, coming in and sitting down with another adult teacher stirs up emotions and nerves, and personally, it feels like you're at this childhood beginning place, because it's brand new, and most musicians have started at a very young age. And I have many adults who have come in, you know, middle age all the way to senior citizens who are like, I want to pick this up. And if anyone who wants to play an instrument and do guitar or other instruments, you can do it. All you have to do is put in the time. But having a great set of a great teacher and a great set of things to practice really take you far and fast. And so that's my goal. My goal is to provide that as a free gift to anyone who wants it. So you can share this to let people know, or tune in at 9 a.m. this morning. Every Saturday, 9 a.m. I'm hopping on here and doing it's very basic. It's easy, simple guitar lessons. And I did this last year, and so there are, if you want to go faster than I'm going this year, you can hop on to the DC Guitar Lessons page and check that out, and watched all the videos from last year and go a little bit faster. My goal is to get everybody who wants to start without having to come into a studio and sit down and sit in a situation that might feel uncomfortable or nerve-wracking as you get started. I see people who are nervous when they come in, and you know, I think it's surprising to them. They're like, wow, I don't know why I feel so nervous. And some of it has to do with things that are getting triggered from the past, and either other lessons in education and that scenario. And some of it is just that you know, it's a brand new situation, and you have to be very vulnerable to come in and sit down with somebody and feel like an absolute beginner. And so my approach is to make that as easy as possible and as comfortable as possible. So I'm going to hop off. I got to go. I will see you at 9 a.m. if you hop on for that. And if not, I'll see you for 60 Seconds to Serenity with me, Gregg Hammond, first thing in the morning tomorrow. Have a fantastic day. Listen to some music. Work on yourself. Work on all your skills. Peace, love, music.